as some of you maybe have experienced, the DDD and domain modeling can take quite a long time to understand and learn. And maybe this is one of the biggest impediments for increased adoption of DDD. But with the help of AI, we really can speed things up. We can speed up the learning process dramatically. And we can create domain models very quickly, maybe in minutes rather than days or weeks. And this also helps visualize the benefits for stakeholders and so on. So it's a lot of positive side effects. And maybe I can say a few words about my own background. So I've been in software development for more than 20 years. Mostly not so much as a programmer, more as a manager, business analyst, project manager. And I'm the co-founder of an e-commerce supplier called Vimo, which is it's quite a journey. We went from 3 persons at home and up to more than 500 employees in 10 countries. But around 2019, I stepped down from Vimo operationally. And then I also met my co-founder, Nikolaus, and we started Qlerify. And we shared the same experience that IT projects fail because we don't have an effective way to understand the business domain. And sometimes, often the business is not even aligned with itself. So it's like a change management project that is going on at the same time as you try to understand, capture requirements. So everything is moving. And we didn't know so much about methodologies back then. So we started to think, what can we do? So we started building something which is like simplified process modeling, like a subset of BPMN. But then we discovered event storming. And that was really like great because it gave us very simple rules to run workshops. And it's kind of what we already were doing, but we got it confirmed that when you have those proven rules, it's easier to go into a workshop, and it really works. So we modified our product, our tool, to do event storming, and I've shown it before how we can do event storming with AI. And now today, my plan is to try to take the next step and do event modeling with AI. So let's see how it goes. Everything here is live. So, and what you see is also a bit work in progress. We haven't released this yet. So let's see how it goes. So that's the plan because, system design, event modeling is one very good method to approach system design, in my opinion. So I thought about an example. And why not go back to this original blog post by Adam Dimitruk? Can you see my screen? Let's see. Yeah, you can see the blog post, I guess.
Yes, we can. Sorry, just the mic was off.
Yes. We can go back to this one and actually take one example here from like his original example with the hotel booking system. See if we can use AI to speed up the understanding of this example, maybe run through those steps, the 7 steps faster. By the way, is it possible? Can we do something like in the audience? How many have used event modeling? I'm not sure I can see the audience. Yeah.
No.
Can we see how many up with one? I can see you now.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay.
How many have used event modeling? Okay. How many have heard about event modeling? Okay. So there's some. Okay, so that's interesting. So I didn't plan to do too much introduction to event modeling, but maybe you will hopefully kind of get it a little bit while we are doing it. So it's 7 steps. Brainstorming, where we brainstorm domain events or events. And then 2, the plot, where we put them on a storyline. And then for each step of the process, we make a little like UI wireframe or mockup. Doesn't matter if it's a human or if it's automated, you can think of it as a robot. So you can think of each step here as a little form with a couple of input fields and a submit button. And then you move on to the next step. So that's basically how you break it down. And then we connect the UX to events with these blue boxes, commands. And then we look at to read models, what's the information, the views, the queries, or the information that we need to make those commands. And now we go to step 6. Now we split this into, we group all these pieces that we have, we group them into bigger blocks of functionality that we can like autonomous parts that separate teams can own. And finally, we do some test scenarios and prioritize the work. So those are the 7 steps. So let's see if we can do that. So I prepared one empty workflow. So in Qlerify, what you would do is actually prepare a prompt. And with AI, you can this thing like the integration between systems sometimes becomes easier because you can just take a screen, you can take a print screen, or you can take a photograph from a whiteboard and ask ChatGPT to translate this into text, and then you can just pass it into another system and then recreate it. So you can immediately, any diagram that I can see on the wall, I can immediately just take a picture, turn it to text, and then put it in here and recreate it in another system. So here we have a hotel booking system that includes visitor registered online. You add rooms, you book a room, you clean the room, the room gets cleaned, the guest check in, guest has left the room, checked out, payment request, payment succeeded. So this is what we're going to do to start to generate the 2 first steps, which is the brainstorming and the timeline. And here is this. I'm going to remove some things here like problems. This is more for event storming, problems and opportunities. Okay, so there we go. So now we connect to ChatGPT or OpenAI through the API, and stream the results back and generate this the timeline. So basically what we are doing now is we're doing the 2 first steps automatically. And let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, we got exactly 9 steps as we requested, and they seem to have the same names. So we have the visitors here. We have their actors or roles on streamline. So visitor, register online, add room to the basket, book a room. The cleaner, ready the room. I never heard that expression, but they took it from his blog post. So the guest will check in, leave room, check out, and then the payment will be handled. So yeah, so that we got that. And this is now Qlerify is a tool where you can very quickly rearrange stuff on the timeline. So that's if you want to add things in the middle, the idea here is that you never have to waste time rearranging lines and boxes. It will always fix itself when you work with it. So basically that is step 1 and step 2. And we are already now on step 3, which is the wireframes or mockups. And now we can see that if you open this sidebar and click on an event, we can go to data fields. So here we also have generated those little mockups. So let's see what it looks like. When you visit a register online, what would the form look like? Yeah, email address, password, and full name. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And the way we generate this is also down here under the diagram in a table with example data. So this example data can later be used as test data. And one of the best ways I mean, I'm not talking about we should just use AI to disconnect from the business completely, but you would ask business, okay, give me an example of what it looks like when a user registers online. And they might say, yes, you put in the email address and a password, and the full name. So for each step, we have these small UX mockups. So add room, book room. Now it seems like it has given me three input fields for each step. That doesn't have to be like that. It's a little bit random. So that is basically this step 3. And if you want to add more fields here, you can do that. If you want to rearrange fields or you can capture more example data here, that's easy. You can do that. If I delete fields. And then we are now already in step 4, where we are connecting these small UX to events with commands. And this is already done because we have these cards here, like inspired from event storming, like commands that connect each. Like register online has a command called register visitor. So that part we also have got for free, basically. And then we can go on to step number 5. And here is an interesting thing. It's about, now we are going to the read models. The read model, we haven't really exactly figured out how to do this in a generic way, but I mean, you can see, as I understand, you can see, I should also say that I'm not an expert yet in event modeling. I think you can see the read model as the updated view after a command. So you execute the command and then you get an updated state view. But you can also look at the read model as the required information you need to perform a command, and that's the way we decided to do it. I will not go into too much details about that, and maybe that's not perfect, but it will be interesting to hear any opinions. So for example here, add room. So when I add room, what I'm doing is I fill in a room type, check-in date, check-out date. So that makes pretty good sense. But in order to do this, I need some information. I need to see what rooms are there. What is the price? Stuff like that. So then the read model is not generated automatically. I have to generate it here. Let's see what we get. Always interesting to see what we're getting from the AI. So here it's just a read model. So it's a room type, it's a price per night, it's a status, and amenities. What's in there? Yeah, maybe something like that. Probably I would like to have a little bit more information, a little bit more sales information, like this is what is this good for, this room. Yeah, but that's basically the read model generated by AI. And then we can keep doing that, of course, for each step. So now we are at step 6. And this is where we are now starting to move into the system design. Like how can we organize all these? Now we have all these pieces of functionality, small small mockups, but how can we tie all of them together to become a real system design? And that's where we go now to down here to aggregates, and then we see that each command basically here we have the business process view. Down here we have the same view but from another perspective, from the other angle, where you see the role, the command, the service or system or aggregate that we execute this command on, and the resulting event. So here you have visitor, and because we already have the data fields, we also know exactly what are the parameters that goes into register visitor, add room to booking, and so on. So usually what we do here now is we look what is the entity or aggregate root here. So for example, register visitor, that is probably what's the main entity we are operating on here. So that's probably user. You see, now we are getting to the more difficult system design questions. It just took 10-15 minutes and we're here. So add room to booking. So what is the entity here? Is it booking? I'm not an expert in hotel systems. So book room. So that's probably also booking. So you see, now we are grouping the commands around the entities or aggregates. And then we have a room ready, leave room. So maybe there's an entity here called room. And we have guest check-in guest. So what would that be? Are we checking in a booking, or are we checking in a room, or are we checking in a guest, for example? So maybe we have a guest. Maybe the guest is checking in, because maybe only one guest checks in a room with multiple guests. So now we're doing system design, and because we got so far with AI, we're already here. And maybe payment is going done with a payment gateway. Or let's say pay. Sorry, little problem with my keyboard here. Payment service provider. Right. So now we have decided which entities we are operating on, and now we can say, okay, how are we now how are we going to implement this? Like, are we going to do microservices where we put each little entity in its own service, or are we going to build something maybe more like a little monolith? Maybe that's more practical. That's where we then now select bounded context. So for example, user, maybe we have a user management system here. And now you get a box here. Let's say we build we take all this, the booking goes into the hotel system. I'm sitting in a basement and the heating is off, and it's snowing and cold outside, and my hands are so cold, so I can almost not type. So we need to fix this later. Sorry about that. Okay, the room goes into the hotel system, and the guest can go into the hotel system. This payment service provider can go into a payment service. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So basically here we have now our little system design. So we have a user management, we have a hotel system, which has booking, entities booking, room, guest, and we have a payment service provider. And now we can also look a little bit into this to see if it makes sense. Like add room to booking. So room type, check-in date, and check-out date. The booking has a room type, it has a check-in date and a check-out date. And we book room, booking reference, payment method, special request. So these are all fields on the booking. So yeah, that looks pretty good. And then we have the room, some operations on the room. Like room, when you clean the room, when you are ready with cleaning the room, you send in the room number, cleaner status, and notes. And you see maybe here, like maybe you can see these things that maybe need fixing, like checkout time. Checkout time doesn't really fit into the room, so something in that design is not perfect. So this is probably need to fix this somehow. And then we have the guest. So yeah, we're pretty far already with our system design, and we can see problems that needs fixing. Let's see if there's something else about this. Yeah, there's one more thing we can do. Go even deeper here. Again, with the help of AI, we can go back to the data models and say, for example, when we book a room, we make the booking. So many times the data structures are more complex. It's not just one entity that is involved. There are associated entities. So to this booking, there might be many other associated entities. Some of them belongs to the same aggregate, but many times you have associated entities that are not belonging to the same aggregate. And we can ask again AI for this to give some suggestions. So now it suggests here that this right model mainly is operating on an entity called booking, like that's the aggregate root, but it has relationships, associated entities, payment, and room. And this you can also, if you go over and look at the aggregate view, you can also see this here. Like the visitor is adding a room to the booking, that's the booking. And here's a bug, booking should not be there. Payment and room are connected. And probably room should be inside the same bounded context, like that. So now we say this is inside the same bounded context, but here the payment could possibly be living outside this bounded context. So that would be like an external integration. So this is a little bit of a context map down there. Yeah, so that's it. That's our system design, although it's not perfect. Probably not good, but we came quite far with the help of AI. We're almost there, and what you can do is also this step 7, where you whoops, sorry. Here. He recommends using this give, when, then. Given, when, then style. Let's see. Specifications. So that also we have also actually already generated. So for example, what do we have here? Booked room. Given the visitor has completed their selection. When they confirm the booking, then the reservation is saved into the system. Given the visitor has selected a room, when they add it to their booking, then the room is included in the reservation. You can generate more test cases, or you can write them manually, of course, if you wish. So now we have this, like this, they talk about slices in event modeling, all these slices. So now it's just, okay, now we can, if we have a well-defined slices, we can build them like with a flat cost curve. So you can build all these slices in any order, at least theoretically. And it's not going to be more expensive because you have a well-defined blueprint now that you can start from. And it's more, now it's just a question of which order should we do this. So you can take all these test cases and sort them into iterations. So, okay, these ones are going into the first iteration. You can drag them also. Maybe these ones are going to the second iteration. Oops. And this one might go to the third iteration. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And we can filter and have a look at, okay, what do we get in the first iteration? And here we see the end-to-end flow. So we can now have a discussion. Like in the first iteration, we're going to have registration online, and we're going to have room booking, but not adding room. So that doesn't make sense. We're going to have check-in and check-out, but we're not going to have the cleaning service, and we're not going to have this payment part. Yeah, maybe that's fine. And then in the second iteration, we're getting some more things. So that's the way now we can prioritize this project. And of course, also with these boxes, some of these are maybe the core domain. Some of these things are just generic subdomain, like payment service. This is nothing we're going to build. This is just something we're buying. User management is nothing we're going to build either. This we're just using from whoever. And maybe we want to slice this into smaller microservices. We can do that too. And yeah, and that's pretty much the whole thing. So definitely, I feel there's an opportunity to accelerate system design with the help of AI. Finally, you can even do like this. Let's say we want to build this hotel system. So, because what we have here, this is basically an API specification, more or less, with room, guest, and booking. So we can go on here and actually say that, okay, we want to have C# with ASP.NET. We want to have SQL-based XUnit test. And generate skeleton code. You see here, first it generates a code structure. And now it starts to write the code. So we're getting like the basic code skeleton for this backend system. And because we have those little UX mockups, we can potentially do front-end coding as well. It shouldn't be too far off. But of course, I mean, this is you developers who work with ChatGPT. You know, you can save a lot of time, but maybe you have to still. I'm not saying that we can. Maybe we can save 20-30% of the time. But maybe if you have legacy systems, it's not so. I mean, the idea here is that you can keep your legacy systems. So you're just slicing down, for example, you can slice down a monolith little by little and replace it gradually with the services. So then you just build, generate code for exactly that service that you need. So yeah, I think that was pretty much everything I had prepared. I don't know if it made any good sense, if you believe that this is a way to accelerate system design or not.
First of all, thanks very much, Stefan. I think we can see how you can accelerate any design, basically, pretty much.
Yeah.
And we also don't want you to get caught in the basement. So we will be ready with the questions, I guess, or
Yeah.
I will ask around. But in the meantime, so I'm a product manager, so I usually don't go this far in Qlerify, but I have a Qlerify account, and many times what I'm using it for, it's not this deep, but I just generate ideas by I mean adding something into the AI prompt in the beginning, and basically generate out all the opportunities and problem spaces that it has, or it gives me ideas for. Actually, Stefan switched it off for this demo, but I think even if you, Stefan, have, I don't know, 5 more minutes, we can maybe show. It's a very simple use case comparing to this demo, what we saw today. But actually, maybe if we say like, for the prompt, if we say like, I don't know, like ordering a basket in online shopping or something very, very simple.
Yes.
I leave it to you.
Yeah, we can take something here. Maybe, let's see, process for ordering home delivery of food, maybe.
Yeah, perfect.
Something like that.
Because it's, you will see in a minute how it generates out opportunities and problems for the different steps. And actually, you can make it generate more and more if that's not enough. I mean, ideating. And this is what I'm using for, maybe later on I will use it for generate code as well. But for now, I'm using it for ideating and coming up with new ideas in different domains, actually. Yep. So, and it's much, much easier and much more visual, of course, than asking ChatGPT all the time. So, and also I really like the user story mapping tool, but this was the first time for me as well that I saw that. So that's great. And also that is another thing that I'm, as a product manager, operating with. I mean, not with this visually represented different releases thing, because this is new for me, as I mentioned, but generating out the user stories. So you can see there. So if you see that opportunities and problems, so it's sometimes it's very basic, but if you say like generate more, it gives me so good ideas. I just wanted to mention this. I know that this is just slightly related to your demo today, but just give the audience a little bit of more context or for the Qlerify tool.
Yeah. And so and of course, like so we don't. You can do a lot of these things. You can do with any, almost any tool nowadays. I mean, every tool will have AI built in soon, and a lot of people using Miro, and we are not competing with Miro. Not at all. We think that we use Miro ourselves when we need to have like more creative workshops. But when you want to have more structure, when it's time to get into this timeline and the rules, then we use Qlerify.
Yeah, and if you like to think in processes. So, but I didn't give the chance to the audience. So do you have any questions? For now or later, because anytime you can.
Basically, I was just curious about what is the model that is being used to generate and to process these?
Yes.
It's running AWS, I believe, but it's...
Yes. So in this case, you mean the AI model, right?
Okay, that's all clear.
Yeah, so it's here, like we're using a 4.0 mini, or we can switch to 4.0. Or this is the old models. This is actually one that we did fine tuning on, Qlerify. So we can do fine tuning.
And Qlerify is in order to work a bit smoother, faster, perhaps with like a real-time suggestion method?
Yeah, I think that what we want to, I would say I wouldn't recommend this one because this is an old 3.5 fine-tuned model. But the idea is that, it's when you say event modeling, when you say event modeling and read model, for example, it can confuse the read model and write model. So many times we struggled a little bit with the prompt to get this demo working because it mixed up the read model and the write model. So that's a typical thing when you might say, okay, here we might need some fine tuning to really explain to it clearly that what we mean with read model, what do we mean with write model. But they're getting better and better. So I think maybe fine tuning looks like it's gonna have less and less importance as these models keep. I mean, they're quite impressive, but they are not perfect. And as you see, we already maybe we get 60-70% of the way. But in my opinion, we don't need more. Like the business, we don't want to give up everything to the robots yet. So we want to have people coming in and fixing the lost steps.
And I just wanted to ask one more question, if I may. There's when you first generated this idea, for example, for the shopping, I was just curious, at which point does the AI actually generate any sort of code, or is that just at the later stage after you finished all the stages as previously?
Yes.
It only starts to do it at the very end, right?
Yes, at the very end, exactly. So that's what we also see, that there are a lot of tools out there where you write a long prompt, and then you're going to sit and prompt it to create your code. But it becomes very tricky because you don't have a solid structure like a skeleton. So we need that's at least what we see so far, that you need a skeleton to connect, to be able to break down the work, to give the AI like small, very focused tasks. You cannot tell the AI to say that, yeah, go and build a hotel booking system. No, it's good. I mean, the AI will also it will start hallucinating. It's just a question of when. Sooner or later, it will go completely off track. But you need to keep it to keep it very tight. And the way to do that is when we have this model, we can go. Okay, I'm going to switch back to the hotel booking. When we have this model, then we can go and say that, for example, I want this exact command. The name should be add room to booking. This should be input parameters. So we don't give the AI too much space to go crazy. We keep it tight, hold it tight. This is what you're gonna do, and so this is when we have this skeleton. That's when we go in here, and basically we generate a prompt from the model. We generate this prompt. So we instruct it to create these attributes. So basically, what all we do is we help you to create a prompt based on this model, and then we split the task up into small subtasks. First just generate the file structure, and then go in and generate each file one by one. So,
okay, answered my question. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any more questions for now? Yeah, okay. So thank you, Stefan. I am wondering whether if we give a round of applause, whether he hears or not, but
Okay.
I'll try. So thank you very much, Stefan.
Thank you.
You are more than welcome to stay, but I guess you need to go to the audience space in the, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Sign up for free by clicking the link in the description and check out our YouTube channel for more videos.